Tracy is back on the show.
Woohoo! The best way to live life is on your terms.
I want to marry.
You don't even understand is that while you're getting yours, some guys out there looking at you getting yours.
I'm not looking for someone who is 100% perfect. I would think that there is something wrong
I'm looking
with
for
you.
100% perfect, please. And this is not me saying like, all the ladies that don't want, I want a guy and I'm going to get a guy and I'm going to get married. Look at me. I want to be touched. A lady in her 30s had nothing to lose much more than a lady in her 20s.
Oh, you had marriage proposals?
Oh yes, a lot.
I never had one. And we're still single.
Yeah, I'm happy.
And happy.
I know.
Are you sure we're happy?
I am.
How many guys would want to stay in a sexless relationship?
It's a lie, Jane. Don't go from the first 2-second dates and be all sultry and sell sex. Then the person is waiting for sex. And then you say,
No. But
date closed.
What I do for views. Okay.
The girl is back again.
We're back again.
Come on.
We're back again. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jane Lawrence and I am that media girl who loves to talk about relationship, love and sex. Tracy is back on the show. Woohoo! And so we're here and we're talking about single at 30, being that fantastic woman, being that independent woman and getting it, securing the bag and not caring so much about what the society thinks of women who are in their 30s and not married. So just this week, I had my birthday. And as a woman in my 30s, I had a retrospective look at my life, coming all the way from my teenage, growing up as a woman in my 20s, trying to figure out how to live my life, how to be independent, financially independent and not dependent on men or on a man. And now getting to this point in my life and still single, with all of my mates married and even having kids in their teenage,
We're still single.
And we're still single. And happy.
I know.
Are you sure we're happy?
I am.
I want to marry.
I know,
but while in the process of waiting for that special person,
yep,
you have to be happy. In the process of you being happy, that's the only way you could attract someone
that is happy.
All right? If a man figures out that you're depressed or
desperate,
you're desperate, he takes advantage of it and it never turns out right. Never turns out right.
The best way to live life is on your terms. For me, I'm in my 30s. I'm single.
I'm sampling.
I'm watching. I'm single and watching. I'm looking at it. And unlike Jane, it wasn't because I did not have time. I actually didn't have time, but I had made up my mind that this was the kind of man I wanted.
Yeah.
But even before that, I had made up my mind to say this is the kind of woman I would like to be before I get married. So the marriage proposals that came to me before I became that woman.
Oh, you had marriage proposals?
Oh yes, a lot.
I never had one.
Journalism took it from you. But look at the conversation. Is that I said to myself, there is the kind of woman I want to be before I get married.
True.
So until I became that woman, I couldn't get married.
True.
I would be doing myself and the person I was getting married to a disservice. Why? Because at that point in time, first, I wasn't ready to submit to any man. Mind-wise, I was still high up there trying to live my life, argue, do stuff. And because I'd gotten used to being totally independent from a very young age. I'm talking about from my JS2. I had started to work. So I understood how to make money and pay bills very early. So at first I knew that paying bill was important to me as a good quality in a man. A man who's able to work hard, earn money and pay bills.
Yeah.
Because I have done that. now I earn money and I pay bills. So I can no longer find someone who will not pay bills. No. So as I grew up, I started to create these, tiny goals, as small as the goals were, of the kind of woman, and that's important for you in your 30s, whether you be a man or a woman, yeah? Mm-hmm. But specifically for ladies, in your 30s, and you're saying to yourself, oh, I missed it somewhere along the line, now I'm single, everybody's pressuring me. Listen, do life on your terms.
Yeah.
Just decide. You don't even understand is that while you're getting yours, some guy's out there looking at you getting yours, and he says, I want to marry this woman because with the way she's passionate about getting hers, she'll help me get mine. Do you understand?
Basically, for me, I think another reason why me in my 30s, I'm not going to put so much pressure on myself, regardless of the fact that I have like my mates who have, married for a long time, they have kids or even teenagers, right? It's finding the right person. There are no perfect persons. Have that at the back of your mind. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking for someone who is 100% perfect. I will think that there is something wrong with you.
I'm looking for 100% perfect, please.
It's very hard.
But perfect is relative. That's what I want you to understand.
Okay.
So what I see as perfection might be seen as flawed by another person. I want a man who holds himself responsible. I want you to come 100% on that. I want a man who holds himself 100% accountable. I want a person who loves God 100%. I'm not even trying to argue with you on these things. Mm-hmm. I want a person who holds his family in high regard. Family 100%. So when I say perfect, I'm saying that there are things that are uncompromisable, that there can't be a shadow of doubt about it.
You can't compromise. I want a guy who is complete in himself. Like, you found yourself. You're not looking for someone. Yourself. You're not looking for someone to find you or looking for someone to make you happy. Nobody can make you happy. As a woman, even in my 30s, right? I find a way to make myself happy because I know that no one can do that for me. I think that's one of the reasons why people just get really tired of their relationships or marriages, because they feel like, oh, when I get into this relationship with this person, he or she is going to make me happy. And when that person falls short of making you what you expected of them, you get upset. And then the squabbles come in.
And I think the first thing, like I said, is find you. Even before you start to ask someone else to find themselves. And I tell people, one of the greatest mistakes people make in relationships is that they are not themselves from the beginning. Be yourself from the very beginning and let someone fall in love with you in that your crass form. But this is not for me to say you should come in a very terrible manner and just
expect you to like
somebody will love me anyhow. A lady in her 30s has nothing to lose much more than a lady in her 20s. But you would have gained in your 30s, you would have gained all the experience that the lady in her 20s does not have. That when you finally do get married, even if it's at 40, let it be that you went into the home completely sure of yourself.
And then women in their 30s, just because you're not having that attention that you would have loved to have, you let yourself go. You no longer take care of yourself.
Oh God, please say it.
No. This is the moment where you ought to take care of yourself. Go out, treat yourself right.
The man should meet you looking good.
Good.
And this is not me saying like, all the ladies now don't want I want a guy and I'm going to get a guy and I'm going to get married. Look at me. I want to be touched. I want to be loved. All I'm saying is don't lose yourself, because you see, men don't even know what they want. I want you to, this is a secret. Men don't even know what they want. They want you to lead them. And that's why relationships fail. Women go into relationships without setting their standard. Auntie, set your standard. Let the guy know this is what it is. And please don't crack halfway and be like, oh, it's been 2 weeks, he's not called me, maybe I need to reduce. If he's really serious about you, men know what they want every time. But they might not know.
You said men don't know what they want.
No. I say men do not know about it. Men do not know how these things are. But what they know is, I want a strong lady that is this. So it is when you show them, they understand what they want.
Oh.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
because they've been having all these ladies that have been, and they are not settled. But then you see, they just meet this lady and bam, they're married. You'll be like,
how did it happen?
Do you know why? It is immediately that lady set her standards and said this word. It clicked that this is actually the kind of thing I want. I want someone who will keep me in the straight and narrow. I want someone who can help me get my finances together. I want someone who's not going to, who's playful enough to joke and jovial around to play around the house with me, but it's also serious enough to be able to put the ground rules and say, hey, you're not doing this. Men want that, but they don't know that they want it. That's what I'm saying. They do not know that they want it until you show them. And please do not assume that people know who you are or how you ought to be treated. Excuse me.
You have to show them.
Show them time and time again. Repeat. So don't take chances about letting people know how you want to be treated or how you ought to be treated. And it's not being rude. You now go and be rude and mean and say Tracy and Jane say you should be rude. No. We're saying put your foot down. And the only way you can know the standards to set is if you have standards by yourself.
Yeah, and then you know yourself. Like you understand what you want.
For some people, they have that, no sex rule until you get married. If that's your rule, stick to it.
That's my rule, by the way.
Stick to it.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm still single, because nowadays, guys, how many guys would want to stay in a sexless relationship?
It's a lie, Jane. I tell you the good truth. I know I have been in relationships that there were no sex, and it was fabulous. It was so intimate.
I would like to have that sort of relationship.
Yeah, so I'm saying that don't go from the first 2-second dates and be all sultry and sell sex. Then the person is waiting for sex, and then you say,
no. But
date closed.
Do I look like someone who would go on a date with a guy and want to sell
juicy Jane?
No. What I do for views.